and welcome to another exciting meeting here at Gaborone Toastmasters. We are definitely excited to welcome you for our last meeting of the month, January. I know sometimes people feel like January is a very long month, but we are excited to have started off really well, working on our public speaking in this month of January 2026. And I'm not going to be the one basically running the show for today's meeting. We actually have someone very exciting who will be chairing our meeting for today. And I just want to read a little short something about who is chairing our meeting today. So this person is a trade marketing specialist with experience across telecommunication and FMCG industries. In addition to her professional role, she serves as the Club Vice President of Education here at Gaborone Toastmasters and is also the Area Director for Division D4 here in District 74, where she champions growth, leadership, and effective communication. When she's not immersed in her personal development journey, this person enjoys spending quality time with her husband and two lovely dogs, traveling and exploring new experience. So let everyone please help me welcome none other than our Toastmaster of the day, Palesa Mahato. Woo, 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 woo. Palesa, you may take the stage.
Woo! I didn't hear those claps. Oh, I see them. Good evening, fellow Toastmasters, visiting Toastmasters, and our esteemed guests. As already mentioned, my name is Palesa Mahato, and I will be your facilitator this evening. Basically, your MC for the day. I will ensure that tonight's meeting runs smoothly, on time with the help of the role players, and efficiently. Our theme this evening is confidence starts here. Here, right now, this moment, this instant. Confidence is not a destination, it's a starting point. In order to build your confidence, you must first build your competency. And I invite you all this evening, especially for the guests and the first-time speakers, to say yes to building your confidence in speaking publicly in a supportive environment here at Gaborone Toastmasters. I welcome you all this evening. I will also be taking the role of giving the toast. A toast is a tradition that we do here at Gaborone Toastmasters. So may I all ask you to raise your glasses if you have any glasses. It can be a wine glass, it can be coffee, it can be tea. Please raise your glasses. I hope you're raising your glasses. I can't see some of you. Right. I would like to pay homage to the founder of Toastmasters International. He has given us the opportunity to build our public speaking skills and our leadership skills in a supportive environment. I hope tonight's meeting is fruitful and engaging for the attendees. Cheers. Cheers, everyone. Cheers. Okay. Lovely stuff. As the agenda suggests, we are ready to begin the meeting. And before we begin, I would like to call upon the role players this evening who will be assisting me in steering this ship tonight. I have a couple of role players and I would like to ask them to join me on the virtual stage and tell us about their role and its importance. First up, I would like to call upon our first role player. our first role player, who is our timekeeper. May I please call upon our timekeeper, who is Loahom Fule. Please welcome her to the virtual stage.
Good evening. Greetings, Madam Toastmaster and fellow Toastmasters and guests. As timer of the table topics speakers, formal speeches, and the evaluations, I will also alert each speaker of the time they have left using the green, which I'm going to show right here. This is the green, yellow, and red cards, which denotes remaining. Table topic speakers should limit their remarks to no more than 2 minutes. At 1 minute, I will raise the green card as I had shown. At 1 minute and 30 seconds, I will raise the yellow card. At 2 minutes, I will raise the red card. Those giving speeches should limit their remarks to their 6 each times. Icebreaker speeches should be 4 to 6. At 4 minutes, I will raise the green card. At 5 minutes, I will raise the yellow card. At 6 minutes, I will raise the red card. Most other speeches should be 5 to 7 minutes in length. At 5 minutes, I will raise the green card. At 6 minutes, raise the yellow card. At 7 minutes, I will raise the red. The individual evaluators should be between 2 to 3 minutes. At 2 minutes, I will raise the green card. At 2 minutes and 30 seconds, I will raise the yellow card. At 3 minutes, I will raise the red card. Thank you, Madam Toastmaster.
Thank you, Emma. Next up, I would like to call upon Maipilo Straw, our grammarian this evening. Is Maipilo on the call?
No, she's not on the call.
Not on the call? Okay, that's fine. We can move on to the next role player while we look for a replacement for her in the background. Next up, I would like to call upon our unarmed counter, Sakabo Malef. Is Sakabo on the call?
Sahabo is not on the call. Sorry, Madam Toastmaster of the day. I don't know if we can. Oh, there she is.
I'm
Okay.
on the call there. Good evening,
Oh.
fellow Toastmasters and dear guests. As the R counter, I'll be listening to what speakers say and marking down on a chart any inappropriate words or sounds used as a space filler. Space fillers are words such as and, well, but, so, and you know. Inappropriate words include your and I'll be looking out for repeated words like I, or this means in all of your speeches today, and I'll provide my report at the end of our engagement. Thank you so much. Back to you, Toastmaster of the Day.
Thank you, Toastmaster Sakabo. Thank you for that. Next up, I would like to call upon the Hackmaster, who is Halaletsang Mutusi. Is Halaletsang on the call? Halaletsang?
Yes, she's on the call.
Let's just give her a few seconds.
Good evening. I'm struggling to see the camera button.
That's okay.
Just give me a second. Can you see me?
Yes, you're visible.
Okay. All right. Good evening, fellow Toastmasters and guests. I'm your Hackmaster for today. My role is to encourage active listening throughout the meeting. I will be listening carefully to all the speeches that will be given today and devise a few questions. So make sure that you listen attentively to all the speeches that will be given today. With that being said, let us have a great meeting.
Thank you, Khalalita. We have found a replacement for our grammarian. I would like to call upon Tumelo Mapalala, who will step in place of Maipelo for tonight's grammarian. Tumelo Mapalala, please join me on the virtual stage.
Good evening, Gaborone Toastmasters, visiting Toastmasters and guests. Tonight, I'll be serving as your grammarian. As grammarian, it is my duty to police the English language. That is, to look out for both the incorrect use of the English language and also note exceptional use of the English language. I'll be listening to all prepared speeches, any mention or any notable references to the English language I shall note and give a report. My duty also includes introducing the word of the day. Our word of the day tonight is anchored, spelled A-N-C-H-O-R-E-D. Anchored is an adjective which means firmly fixed, secured, or grounded, which means or alludes to emotionally or mentally stable and supported by strong foundations. Examples of its use are: she remained anchored in her values, even when the room challenged her ideas. Or his confidence was anchored by preparation and continued or consistent practice. The club provides a space where members feel anchored enough to try, fail, and grow. So, in essence, this just means to stand firm, to be grounded in purpose, supported by preparation, and steady enough to grow in confidence. With that, I'll be giving a report as to how many people or who used the word of the day and how many times in my report in the evaluation segment. Thank you, and back to you, Madam Toastmaster of the evening.
Thank you, Madam. Next up, I would like to call upon our next role player, who is the table topics master this evening. Hatsina, please may you join me on the virtual stage.
Hi everyone. I hope you are enjoying the new year, a new beginning. Today I'm your table topic master and my role is simple. I will pose a question based on our theme, confidence begins here. And questions would be fun, simple to easy to medium level difficulty. And we'll all enjoy the spontaneous speaking out your impromptu responses. Okay, back to you, Madam Toastmaster of the day. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Table Topics Master. I implore all of you to try out Table Topics. It's usually a daunting session, but very fun. So do think about it and hopefully take on a speech. Right. I believe we have gone through, we have one more role player, a very important role player, actually. We have our general evaluator this evening, who is Maduo Musutwani. Maduo, may you please join the virtual stage to tell us about your role. Maduo, are you on the call?
She doesn't seem to be on the call anymore, but I know she was there earlier. She could have just, maybe she dropped off.
Okay.
Maybe you can just advise what the role is all about. I'm sure she'll come back.
I believe some of us are having technical challenges, which usually happens with online meetings, but I will step in her place for now. The role of the general evaluator is to take note and monitor the entire meeting, monitor whether we started on time, any improvements that we can make to our meeting going forward, and point out and highlight any great things that we did throughout our meeting. It's basically just to look at the meeting in its entirety and advise on how we can improve it going forward. So I believe and hope that by the time the general evaluator role is up, our general evaluator, Maju, will be able to take this up. Right. I now believe we have concluded the role players and we are ready to start the program officially. Ladies and gentlemen, tonight's program has 3 main parts. The first section is that of the better speaking segment. This is where our speakers have practiced their speeches and will be giving their speeches tonight. The second segment is that of evaluations. Our evaluation section is quite interesting. This is where our evaluators will then evaluate our speakers, give them advice and feedback on how they can improve their public speaking going forward. And finally, we will have the last part of the section, which is the reports, where we will receive reports from the various role players this evening. The timer will let us know whether we used our time wisely, because here at Toastmasters, we monitor and manage everything, even the time. As I speak right now, I am being timed. So that will be the last part of the session this evening. I do hope you have an enjoyable evening tonight with us. Right. First things first, our first speech. We have 2 icebreakers this evening, a very, very special evening. Icebreaker is the speech that members give here the first speech that members give here at Toastmasters. Our first speaker this evening is Thulaganyo, and Thulaganyo will be evaluated by Kagelelo. I would like to call on Kagelelo to the virtual stage to give us the purpose of Thulaganyo's speech this evening. Please join me on the virtual stage.
Thank you so much, Madam Toastmaster of the day. I hope I'm audible. My sincere apologies, my camera is acting up. All right, Thulaganyo's speech objectives is for the member to introduce herself or himself to the club and learn the basic structure of public speaking. Sweet and short. Over to you, Madam Toastmaster of the day.
Thank you, Madam Evaluator. The time has come for our first speaker this evening. She is doing her icebreaker, as her evaluator said, and the title of her speech is Becoming Me. Becoming Me by Thulaganyo. Thulaganyo, please join me on the virtual stage.
Good evening, fellow Toastmasters. I hope I'm audible. Am I audible?
Yes, you are.
Okay, all right. Firstly, I'd like to thank you, Palesa, for giving me the opportunity tonight, this evening. It's a pleasure to be making my very first speech. So the title of my speech is named Becoming Me. My name is Thulaganyo, Zelda Tshweneyagae, and I'm simply a woman in the process of growth, figuring it out, learning, discovering herself, and becoming. So professionally, I'm a dealer at the Bank of Botswana, working in the financial markets. And my role requires precision, discipline, and critical decision-making. And in that environment, confidence is quite essential. It is non-negotiable, actually. But behind the professional title is a person who is still learning, not only about markets, but about herself. For a long time since university, I believed that once I secured the right education and the right job, everything else will naturally fall into place. I thought confidence will automatically follow. But what I have learned instead is that professional growth and personal growth do not always develop at the same pace. Becoming me began when I realized that it's possible to be competent at work while still questioning yourself internally. That is a lot of room to evolve. So joining Toastmasters is part of that journey for me. Today, I'm here not as someone who is everything figured out, but as someone who's committed to becoming more confident, becoming more expressive, becoming a better professional, a stronger communicator, and a more authentic and better version of myself. Becoming more me. Sorry about that. So in my professional role, communication is quite critical, but I believe Toastmasters will challenge me to communicate beyond numbers, just numbers and reports that I produce at work, but to express ideas clearly, speak with intention, and to show up with confidence in any room. I believe it will push me outside my comfort zone in the best possible way. Toastmasters, if there's one lesson my journey has taught me, is this. Becoming yourself is not about perfection, it's about progress and having the courage to start. And this is me starting today. Thank you.
Whoop, whoop! Yay! Unmute the mic so that you give her a round of applause. She absolutely deserves it. Thank you very much. Thank you, Thulaganyo. I mean, I absolutely loved her. Next up, we have our second speech this evening, which is also an icebreaker. I would like to call upon the Zwelibanzi's evaluator this evening. Okay, we have a slight amendment to the program. Lamem Tepta will not be able to make it this evening. So I will then read out the speech evaluation. It's basically similar to the previous speech. The purpose of the speech is for the speaker to introduce themselves to the club in a coherent manner, tell us who they are, and just introduce themselves to us. Short, sweet, as said by Mpho previously. I would then like to call upon our next speaker, Zwelibanzi Sapula. Zwelibanzi Sapula's speech title is A Scar, a Tongue, and a Love Story. A scar, a tongue, and a love story. Zwelibanzi Sapula. Please join me on the virtual stage.
Good evening, everyone. As it's been said, my name is Zwelibanzi Sapula. But hey, if you forget my name today, that's okay. I'm going to help you today not to forget who I am. So you can just remember me as the guy with the scar on his forehead, this one right here. That's how you can remember me as. And no, the scar itself is not because of a ritual of some sorts or doing something heroic. I actually got the scar when I was 3 years old. And you know, when you are 3 years old, you think that you can go out there and do something wonderful in the world, but you never wake up in the morning and think, you know, I'm going to go and change the world today, or I'm going to do something amazing. But you wake up every morning thinking, today I'm going to annoy someone, or today I'm going to test someone. And that's exactly what happened to me. I woke up and decided I'm going to test someone. And what that meant was that I had a very sharp tongue growing up, and me and my very sharp tongue, I decided to go and annoy someone. And unfortunately, the person I went to annoy did not have a sharp tongue, right? He had very sharp fists and very fast fists. So just like that, without arguing, without any negotiations, without anything else, a lesson was delivered right into my forehead. And there I have a scar to prove it. And it's lived with me for the rest of my life ever since then. And when this happened, actually, I realized something which is really quite important. And what I really learned in life is that my first lesson was that every action you have in life will always have a reaction or a response that will actually be filled with consequences. And that's exactly what happened to me. But as I grew older, this lesson became something even deeper. I actually learned that not everybody fights the same way. Some people fight with their words, some people fight with power, some people fight with silence, and some people fight, yes, with their fists. And this was essentially the second lesson that I learned. And that lesson was the fact that we don't need to actually be the type of people that we are when we use our words. We need to learn how important our words are and how important they land on everybody else. And that's something that's really quite important. And the reason it's important is that we learn something which is really quite deep, that sometimes just because you have something to say doesn't mean that you have to say it. And secondly, that being clever without thinking about the consequences or being thoughtful can make you lose more than what you expected. As we grow up, right, our tongues become even sharper, and we learn how to argue better, we learn how to be right, we learn how to win. And then one day you realize something that's really uncomfortable. What's the point of winning every argument and losing everyone in the room? And that's when I learned my second lesson, which is love. And love does something amazing. It makes us slow down. It teaches you that being right isn't the same as being whole. It teaches you that strength without compassion is just noise. And there's a saying that says, without love, you're just a sounding gong. Because you know what a sounding gong is. It's very loud, bang, and it's impressive, and it's attention seeking. But when that sound goes away, what's left? Nothing, right? And I've learned that even when we're doing good work, important work, if it's not rooted or anchored in love, then it's meaningless. It drains us, it hardens us, and it empties us. And when everything else fails, when the tongue gets tired and the fists are no longer fast, love is the only thing that remains. And the thing is this, that with love, we have everything, right? And that's what we live for. We live to be seen, we live to be chosen, and to grow old with someone. There's a song that I love that says, I wanna make you smile whenever you're sad, carry you around when your arthritis is bad. Ooh, I wanna grow old with you. And that line specifically, I wanna grow old with you. When you realize the impact of this word, you realize actually that Growing old doesn't mean getting louder. It means getting soft, right? Being more patient and being more human. So today, if you remember anything about me today, remember me as the guy with the scar who learned that words matter. And also, I believe that love gives us meaning to everything else. And if I tease you, if I say something funny to you, just know that I've learned my lesson already and I've got a scar to prove it. Thank you very much.
Our icebreakers this evening are on fire. I do not believe this is their first time taking the stage. Thank you for that speech, Zweli. We now know that you are the guy with the scar on the forehead. Similar to me, I have a scar on my forehead. Lovely. Next up, we have our third speaker for the evening, and she will be evaluated by Leah Musunga. Leah Musunga, please join me on the virtual stage to introduce Kagelelo's speech objectives.
Good evening. Sorry. My internet connection is a bit unstable, but good evening, fellow Toastmasters, our guests. So I have the privilege of evaluating Kagelelo today, who is giving a level 2 speeches. So right now we just heard some level 1 speeches. So Kagelelo is doing level 2, and she's doing from the project Introduction to Toastmasters Mentoring. So the purpose of the speech is for the member to clearly define how Toastmasters envisions mentoring, and also for the member to share some aspects of their experience as a protege. So very interesting speech. I'm sure that we're going to hear this evening. Thank you. Back to you, Madam Toastmaster of the day.
Thank you, Madam Evaluator. Because you guided me. Because you guided me by Kagelelo Mogotsi. Please give her a round of applause as she joins me on the virtual stage this evening.
Isaac Newton said, "If I've seen feather, it is by standing on the shoulders of the giants. Likewise, if I've grown, if I've improved, if I have grown braver, it is by experiencing the brilliance of mentors around me." Good evening, Toastmaster of the day, fellow Toastmasters, esteemed guests, and visitors. It was April of 2025 when I walked into Lifeline Medical Clinic, sat quietly in a corner and prayed that I will not be voluntold for table topics. My prayer wasn't answered. Leah was table topic master, and I guess hesitation is not in her vocabulary. That evening, I watched Palesa and Tumelo give evaluation with such clarity and confidence. I was in awe. Their presence made me think I too could do that one day. So I walked out of the door, having made a decision to start and to really to commit to sucking. But thank goodness in Toastmasters, you are never alone. I was assigned a mentor, someone not to pamper me and shield me, but someone to anchor me, to challenge me, and to guide me. I remember feedback from my first few speech. You showed resilience and forced yourself to finish your speech. The following meeting, you guessed it right. My mind went blank. I froze like a deer in headlights. And the feedback was, thoroughly memorize the opening and conclusion of your speech. That way, if you get stuck in the middle, you can quickly jump to end your speech. These moments were very important to me. They showed me that I needed not to be perfect, but to show up. As a protege, I then promised myself not to let my shortcomings define me, but to use them as lessons, to stay open to the feedback, even though it stung a little, to ask questions, to reach out. So I learned, I practiced. I remember sending Leah message after message, hoping that she will not run out of patience. I remember scheduling practice call with Dumelo and feeling supported every time. I remember the encouraging messages from Matshediso that came at the right moment when I needed a push. They held my hand from the very beginning until now. They gave me the confidence to make mistakes and the courage to learn from them. They answered every question, even the silly ones. Their patience was real and their guidance intentional. And it wasn't only the direct mentoring. It was them showing up on time, prepared, and excited for every meeting. It was watching them fulfill their role with commitment that taught me far more than they realized. They created an environment where growth becomes the natural outcome. So this club, this community became a place where I could be brave, a place where I could fail safely, a place where mistakes are not embarrassing, but they are expected. And as I stand here tonight, reflecting on the journey thus far, the truth is simple. Because they guided me, I triumphed. Because they supported me, I improved. Because they believed in me, I began to believe in myself. So, for the safe environment, the mentoring, the push that I didn't always know I needed, the truth is, I did it because they guided me. Thank you.
Lovely, lovely. Well done, Kagelelo. The Palisa she was referring to is me, by the way. A place where mistakes are not embarrassing, but are expected. Thank you so much for that speech, Kagelelo. Next up, I would like to call upon our next speaker, who is Matshediso Tamaki. She will be evaluated by Tumelo Maphalala. Tumelo Maphalala, please join me on stage to introduce Matshediso's speech objective.
Thank you, Toastmaster of the evening. Tonight, I have the pleasure of evaluating Matshediso Tamaki as she pursues the Presentation Mastery Level 3. This is a Level 3 project titled Persuasive Speaking. The objective of Matshediso's speech is for her to understand the different types of persuasive speeches that exist and end up delivering a persuasive speech. This speech should be well organized on any topic she chooses, and she can either appeal to our emotions, our ethics, or even our logic. It may be humorous, informational, or whichever style she chooses. All the best, Matshediso. I look forward to hearing your speech. Over to you, Toastmaster of the day.
Thank you, Madam Ivan. Rise and read. Matshediso Tamaki. Matshediso Tamaki, rise and read.
Toastmaster of the day. Good evening, fellow Toastmasters and guests. Imagine if I told you that there's one simple habit that can make you smarter, reduce your stress, and help you build confidence. No gym membership, no expensive cost, just 30 minutes a day. Would you be interested? Today, I want to share with you how reading for just 30 minutes a day can dramatically change your life, and most importantly, that you should start today. Let's start with the obvious benefit, which is knowledge. When you read, you are exposed to new ideas, new perspectives, and vocabulary. Over time, this anchors in your mind. This also will improve your communication skills, and your critical thinking, which are the skills that we truly deeply value here at Toastmasters. Think about it. Strong speakers are often strong readers, and reading gives you stories, examples, and language that will naturally show up in your speeches. If you want better table topics responses, reading is one of the easiest ways to get there. Number 2, reading reduces stress. Many of us end our days scrolling endlessly on our phones, jumping from consuming bad news to even comparing ourselves with online strangers. We call it relaxing, but our minds stay exhausted and drained. When you read, your mind slows down. You focus on one thing. So with reading, it is very different. And also studies have shown that when you read, you can reduce your stress levels because even significantly, reading can effectively improve your stress more than listening to music or going for a walk. Personally, I myself was guilty of this. I would get home, take off my shoes, sit on the couch, feet up, and scroll endlessly on my phone until I fell asleep. And my mind was always exhausted and drained. But when I replaced that with just 30 minutes of reading, I started to feel better. I started to sleep better and had a calmer mind. And it became my daily reset button. Point number 3, reading builds discipline and confidence. When you read, even just for a short time, you begin to see yourself differently. You become somebody who reads and you become somebody who invests in their growth. And that confidence will show up in the conversations you have with your friends, in the conversations that you have with your peers, whether at work and when you are networking in the industry. Your ideas, you trust your ideas more because you constantly feed your mind when you are reading. Great speakers are not born confident. They build the confidence through reading and forming the habit of reading. And reading is one of those habits that you can form in order to improve your confidence. I know some of you might be thinking, we don't have time. But let's be honest, we all have 30 minutes a day that we can spare for reading. You don't need to read fast, you just need to find a book that fascinates you. So, ladies and gentlemen, here's my challenge to you. Tonight, choose one book, set a timer for 30 minutes, no distractions. Not tomorrow, not today, not tomorrow, not next week, but tonight. If you do this constantly, you will start to see the difference. You will feel different, you will think clearer, you will speak better, and even feel more in control of your life. And one day when somebody asks you, how did you become a better speaker or how did you become a confident speaker, you will constantly have that answer. I started off this year by joining an online community of readers, which is an online social reading club called Rise and Read. I used to struggle to even read one chapter in a book, but I found an online community which rallies behind each other for us to challenge ourselves by reading at least one book per month. And I must tell you that ever since I joined this club, I've been able to read. I have completed my first January book for the year, for the month, and now on the last pages of my second book. Ladies and gentlemen, I stand before you to tell you that reading does really help. It started with just 30 minutes a day. Thank you.
Thank you, Matshediso Tamaki. You are absolutely right. Reading does help. It helps to develop your confidence, your competence, and that is what we're here to do today, as the theme suggests this evening. Ladies and gentlemen, we have come to the end of our first segment here at our club meeting, which is that of the prepared speeches. Now we'll be moving on to the next segment. I would like to call upon our timekeeper, who is Loago Mfulwe, to give us a report on our time management this evening. Loago?
Good evening, good evening. Yes, so I'm going to be giving the timer's report, and I did have a few mishaps here and there, but I managed to get back right on track and fix it immediately. So we're going to start with our first speaker, Ms. Thulaganyo Tshweneyagae, with the project title being Icebreaker and the speech being Becoming Me. She was required to take 4 to 6 minutes in order to give her speech, and she gave her speech in 3 minutes and 25 seconds. The next speaker was Zwelibanzi Sapula, with him being an icebreaker and the speech title being A Scar, a Tongue, and a Love Story. He was also required to take 4 to 6 minutes, and he was within time, taking 4 minutes 48 seconds with his speech. Next, we move on to Kagelelo Mogotsi, being the project title being Introduction to Toastmasters Mentoring, speech title being Because You Guided Me. She was required to take 5 to 7 minutes, and she was able to give her speech in 4 minutes and 24 seconds, which was within the time limit. Our next speaker was Matshediso Tamaki, project title being Persuasive Speaking, speech title being Rise and Read. She was required to take 5 to 7 minutes, and she gave her speech in 5 minutes and 22 seconds, being within the time limit. Thank you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Loago. And thank you to the speakers for speaking within the allotted time this evening. To our, I think it's the SAA, I'm not sure. Are we going to have our votes for best effort speaker? I don't see any polls up.
Yes, apologies. I think the polls were not prepared.
Okay, all right, that's fine. So we will just proceed. Lovely, okay, that's fine. Next up, we have our table topics session. Ladies and gentlemen, like I said earlier, it's usually a daunting session, but I'm telling you, if you just put your foot forward and attempt to do it, you will be glad you did it. Remember what we said today, confidence starts here. So it's important that you are anchored in your reason for joining this meeting today. You want to be a great public speaker. You want to be able to speak off the cuff and speak comfortably in front of people. And this is exactly where it starts, with table topics. I would like to call upon our table topics master, Leah, to take over the session for the next 8 to 10 minutes. Leah?
Hasina.
Oh, my apologies. Hasina will be taking over that segment. We just we slightly made a few amendments to the program, so Hasina will be taking over table topics. Thank you for that.
Hi once again. So I have prepared 10 questions on the 10 letters of the word confidence, which is our theme of the day. So I would like you to pick the letters from the confidence, CONFIDENCE. And I have 10 questions. I love to ask all the 10 questions. So I need 10 volunteers if time permits. That's the condition. So who is the first volunteer? Who begins the table topic session for today? Are there any hands? Is there anyone? Okay, there's one raised hand. Who is this? Can you?
Timer's hand,
Okay.
but I can try.
Okay, please.
Yeah.
So is it? Can you please come
The
on the
letter C?
stage?
Yes.
Letter C.
Yeah, the first
First
C.
C, right? Okay. So
Yes.
first C is for courage. So courage is the first step. Tell us about a time you did something that took a big dose of courage. Your question is, tell us about a time you did something that took a big dose of challenge. Very easy for you.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Madam Table Topics Master. Ever go to a zoo or a park or even a game reserve? It's always filled with different types of animals and what I call creatures. Over this past December, I had an opportunity not to go to a zoo, a game reserve, or even a park. I went to a crocodile and lizard park. All I wanted to do was to see the crocodiles. Little did I know that part of the journey when they're taking you around, you actually get to see other types of creatures. And the creatures I'm talking about are lizards. Ever have a lizard in the house, or maybe you see it outside? My first reaction is to run. I am running because I think that thing is coming to get me. There we were with my friends. We get into the park, and the first place the person takes us to, they say, there's something exciting here, and you have an opportunity to hold it in your hands. He went to the back, came out holding a lizard. My initial reaction was to scream and run away. He quickly called me back because my friends were busy laughing at me running and told me I shouldn't be afraid. I should just hold out my hand and put this creature on my hand and I'll be fine. It took a lot of courage for me to be able to hold out my hand. And as he placed it on my hand and I felt the little legs moving, I nearly opened up my arms so I could run away again. But I decided that day I would conquer my fear of having to hold such type of creatures. And I was able to do that for about 30 seconds before I told the person I couldn't do it anymore. That day, I had the courage to hold something that I always run away from. What is it that you are running from that you might need some courage to do this year? Back to you, Madam Table Topics Master.
Wow, such an interesting, and I can imagine that it relates to many of us. We are scared of lizard, and the best thing is that fear can be killed only by facing it. So wonderful question. I really enjoyed. Wonderful answer. I really enjoyed it. Who is our next volunteer? Hi. Today I want many raised hands. Our theme of the day is confidence begins here. Come on. Or should I
I saw that Luaho had raised her hand earlier.
Okay. Please, Luaho, come on the stage and choose your letter.
She's the timer. That's why her hand is raised. Sorry.
I don't mind trying. I don't mind taking
okay.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Thank you, Luaho. Come on the stage, please. So what letter do you choose? Are you there?
Yes, I
Your
am here.
video?
Yes. I
Okay,
would
we
like
can't
to
see
say,
you.
yes, I'm here. Am I visible?
No,
Yes, she's
you
on
are
the
not
screen.
visible. You are audible.
I'm not
Okay,
audible.
choose. Yes, now it's visible. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Choose your letter. Yeah,
The letter D.
second C. So second C is for
The letter D. Pardon,
okay.
the letter
Huh?
D. D. D.
D.
Yes, D.
D. Okay. D is for doubt. Doubt is a natural visitor. So tell us about a time when when you overcome your doubt and what quieted it. How did you do it? Tell us about a time when you overcome your doubt and how
Yes.
did you do it? Thank you.
Yes. Doubt. Doubt is something that I have always had growing up. Whenever I was given a task, either by my grandmother or my mother, because they had very high expectations of me, I never thought I could pursue or complete what they had given me to do. I was 16 years old and I was given the task to go to the field and go and start plowing the field to prepare for the growth season. You could imagine the size of that field, and you can imagine a girl like me with no experience. You don't know anything about plowing a field, and you're given this task to do this at the village. You know, everybody wants to have a harvest, everybody wants food. So you're given that weight on your shoulder to go and plow so that the seeds could be put into the ground and you and the family can start plowing for the season. Man, I tell you, I broke a sweat that day. I broke a sweat. There were so many occasions I had to restart because the lines were crooked. I wanted everything to be perfect. And being a beginner and having doubt that I could not actually pursue this made it worse because crooked lines would make my grandmother say, Loago, we. Ako thahelo diretse leo gore thamalale re batla go ta re tsamaisa tractor sentle gore re kgone go lema. Which, if you translate, they want to use the tractor to go perfectly, and actually start collecting or starting to plant the seeds. But I did otherwise. So I put it upon myself. I went to the corner there. I put my water bottle in the bucket and I filled it up with water. Took a huge gulp of water. Went back to the field and I did it. I did it. With the help of my cousins that were coming, they got into the field and they helped me make the lines straight because I had to start again. There was no way my grandmother was gonna let the plower put seeds into lines that were not straight. So that day was the day I overcame the doubt of not knowing how to plow a field, but I had learned how to do it for the first time. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Luako. It was a really, I didn't think that you will answer in such a deep extent. And I could pick three things from here. That one thing is we always want perfection. And then second thing, that expectation from us, that also makes us nervous. And water, yes, water is the best remedy for our nervousness. We have always seen the speakers, they are carrying water bottle when they are giving speeches and all. So thank you so much, Luako. It was a wonderful answer. I didn't expect such impromptu perfect answer from you. I can't do that. Okay, who is the next one? Hello. Please come on the stage or raise your hands. Someone can help me. Who are our Should I? Kagelelo, can you come on the stage? Kagelelo Mogotsi. I'm just picking up randomly.
There's a hand from Julie. She has raised her
From
hand.
Julie.
Yes.
Okay. Hi, Julie. Welcome to the stage. Please pick your letter.
O.
Hello.
O.
O. So O
O.
is for
It's O.
opportunity. Yeah. O. O is for opportunity. So describe an opportunity you are glad you said yes to, even if it is scared you a little. Your question is, describe an opportunity you are glad you said yes, though it scared you a little.
Fellow Toastmasters, opportunities. Rising up to take an opportunity. The one thing that's wrong with that question is it should be not opportunity, it should be opportunities, because there are many opportunities which we are faced with. I could think of several challenges that have happened in my life. Some of them have been very difficult, pushed me over the edge. But every single morning, I wake up and I think, not what opportunity is there for me today, but what opportunities are there for me today? They may not be great big ones like running a race or writing a thesis, but there's small little opportunities every day. Greeting somebody, doing something today which I couldn't do yesterday. Not stumbling, but trying a little bit harder. Having a little bit more confidence to proceed. And making sure that I'm anchored in progress from the firm foundation that I started yesterday. So I can't actually think of one opportunity that I've succeeded in. But life is surely full of opportunity after opportunity after opportunity. Yesterday, today, tomorrow. Small ones, big ones. Ones that other people see and perhaps only that you see. Look for your opportunities in life. Back to you, Madam Table Topics Master.
Thank you, Julie. It was a quite a different perspective. And you are right. Opportunities are there. And if it is not there, you create one. So opportunities are not one. Opportunities, it is opportunities, not opportunity. Thank you. Thank you. Who is the next one? Next volunteer, please.
Zweli, yes, so there was a hand, or he failed to raise the hand. That was Zwelibanzi. We wanted to do table topics. You put it in the chat.
Okay. Please come on the stage. I didn't get the name properly. You said Zwelibanzi.
Zweli, the name with the scar.
Oh, the person with the scar. Okay, okay. So tell me, what letter do you choose?
I will choose I.
I. Okay, so I is for inner voice. Our inner voice matters, right? So what is one thing your inner voice says to pump you before a challenge? What is one thing your inner voice says to pump you before a challenge?
Okay,
How
great.
do you
Thank
get your courage? Something like that, yeah.
So many years ago, my mentor told me to read a book. The book said, questions you ask yourself when you are alone. And the one thing that was really quite important for me when I read that book was the fact that what you tell yourself is very important, because your brain doesn't know the difference between the truth and a lie. So when you tell your brain you cannot do something, it believes it. When you tell your brain you can do something, it believes it. And this is also something that was actually echoed by Henry Ford when he says, a man who says he can and the man who says he can't are both right. So the one thing that I always tell myself, every single time I have a challenge, every single time I have a difficult situation that comes along, the one thing that I always say to myself is, this is nothing. I can do it. I've done bigger things and I can do this as well. And that is the one thing that ensures that I always do well, by telling myself, I can do it. I've done better things. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Such an appropriate and just to the point, and you added your quote. And yes, our mind power is strong. We just know how to use it properly. Thank you very much. So do we still have time? Timer, please, you let me know when time finishes. Otherwise, I will keep going.
Yes, ma'am, I will do that.
We can do that? Okay. Thank you. So who is our next volunteer? Hello. Should I call Sikhabo Malefu? Or Matshediso Tamaki, would you like to come? Asalepile, should I call you? Come, Asalepile, you haven't, I didn't see you today. Hello, can you hear me? Asalepile Banda? Do you want to take
I can hear you, but I'm in the dark. It's dark too.
No problem, but you can still answer, right?
Okay, that's not a problem.
Okay, so choose your letter. The letter left are F, then E, N, another C, another E.
F,
what do you want to take?
F, please.
So
yes.
F is first attempt. First attempt is always the hardest. What is something you were nervous to try for the first time? And what happened? What is something you were nervous to try for the first time, and then what happened?
Okay, I've had a few things that I've done, although I was nervous, but one that stands out the most would be Toastmasters, giving my first speech. I can still remember it like it were yesterday. I was really nervous, but I knew that I had to do it because I had kept it on the back burner for years. And I knew that at some point I'd have to do this. And I braced myself, talked to Leah. I know I didn't even come as a guest. I remember very well that I didn't even come as a guest to see what actually happens, because I knew that I had to do it. I just literally signed up and came on to give my speech the very first time I came through. I was really nervous, but after that speech, I felt better. I felt so proud of myself because I had done it. And everybody was so nice to me. I got really supportive feedback, and it's what kept me coming. But I've been on a break for a few months now, and it's actually my first time here, I think after 3 months. I knew I had to come back, so I literally decided today, Asa, you gotta make time and go back to Toastmasters, and here I am. Thank you.
Thank you, Asalepile. So you have proved that we just have to start, not just thinking that first I have to prepare myself. Preparation continuously happens as we take our steps. Thank you so much for your lovely response. Should I take few more questions? I think 2 or 3 are left. Is time is there? Madam Timer, can I?
Yes, the time has elapsed.
Okay.
Yeah,
Then thank you very much for the lovely responses. I didn't realize at any point that these were impromptu answer. You all have prepared it. Lovely. Thank you so much. And Julie has used the word anchored. I encourage all of you also to use the word anchor. Thank you. Though I'm not a grammarian, just to add. Thank you. I really love this table topic answers. Thank you so much. Back to you, Madam Toastmaster.
Thank you, Madam Table Topics Master. I thoroughly enjoyed everyone's impromptu speech. One of my favorite sections here at Toastmasters. Next up, we have the Hark Master session. If you recall at the beginning of the meeting, the Hark Master did encourage you to pay close attention to the speakers this evening because her quiz is based on the speeches this evening. I'd like to call upon Alalezang to please take over the Hark Master session. Alalezang?
Yes, thank you, Madam Toastmasters. My role was a hack master. I was listening attentively to all the speeches that were given, and I have devised a few questions. So here we go. The first one is from Thulaganyo during her icebreaker speech. What is Thulaganyo's middle name? Please unmute your mics.
Zelda.
Hello.
Zelda.
Thank you. And then, yeah, that is correct. She works at Bank of Botswana as what?
A
Dealer.
trader.
A dealer.
Dealer.
A dealer.
Forex
Dealer
dealer.
is the correct answer. And what is a non-negotiable for Thulaganyo?
Confidence.
Correct.
Yeah,
I hope it's not
Confidence.
Thulaganyo giving us that answer. And then
Wow.
yeah, and then Zwelibanzi. What are we to remember Zwelibanzi with?
The
With
star
the
on his
star
forehead.
on his
The
forehead.
scar. The man with the
Yes,
scar on his head.
a guy with a scar. That is correct. And at what age did he get a scar?
3 years old.
3
3
years.
years.
3 years old.
3 years.
3 years old.
That is correct. So the person he went to annoy had sharp what?
Fist.
Fist.
Fists.
Fist.
Yeah. So one of the lessons that he learned is that growing old does not mean what?
Being loud.
Always
Growing
being
loud.
right.
Oh.
Yes. And then the first lesson that he learned is that every action
As reaction or
As a
response.
reaction.
As a reaction.
Or a response, yeah.
yes, a response that is filled with consequences.
Yes.
Yes, and then over to Kagelelo's speech. She worked in the Lifeline Medical Clinic which month in 2025?
April.
April is the correct answer. Kagelelo had a lot of mentors, and Leah was one of them. Leah does not have what in her vocabulary?
Hesitation.
That is correct.
Yeah.
That is
Hesitation.
correct. And then one of the feedback that was given to Kagelelo, or please give me the feedback that was given to Kagelelo on her second speech at Toastmasters.
Memorize the beginning and the end of your speech.
That is correct. And then Toastmasters is a place.
Fail forward.
Yes. Sorry, I didn't get that.
Safe place.
That is correct. What
To
else?
fail.
Yes, a place where one is allowed to make mistakes. And then to Matshediso's speech on rise and read, which skills do we all need?
To read 30 minutes a day.
No. Which skills do we all need?
Confidence.
So we
Critical
need,
thinking.
yes, that is one of them. Which other one? There were two that she mentioned. Okay, let me help. It's communication and analytical skills or critical thinking. And then reading reduces what?
Stress.
That is correct. It reduces stress. And what is her stress button?
Work. Work.
No.
Reading.
The stress button is reading.
Oh.
How many minutes can we spare in a day to read?
30 minutes.
30 minutes. That is correct. What is the name of the online community that she has joined?
Rise and read.
Rise and read.
Rise and read.
That is correct. And then okay. So Leah is scared of what?
Lizards.
Lizards. And Leah had purposed to conquer her what?
A fear.
Yeah.
Of lizards.
Yes. That is all from me. It does show that you were actively listening. And this is the end from the Hackmaster. Over to you, Madam Toastmasters. Or the chair, sorry.
Thank you, Madam Hackmaster. Those questions actually weren't that difficult. Thank you for going easy on us. Usually the Hackmaster is where people flex and ask us difficult questions just to prove that we were not listening. But it appears we were listening this evening. Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, we are now going to the final section this evening. That is the evaluation session. Here at Toastmasters, we believe that evaluation is the breakfast for champions. And everything that we do must be evaluated so we may improve on our speaking skills, our vocabulary, our time management skills, etc., etc. And to lead us in the section is our general evaluator this evening, who is Majuo Musutani. Majuo, are you on the call?
Good evening, everyone. Oh, should I start my video?
You are not visible on my end. Oh, yes, there you are. Perfect.
Okay. Good evening, everyone. I am the general evaluator for today's meeting. I'll just start off with giving my feedback on the overall meeting. So firstly, the meeting was well structured, and I believe that we followed the agenda quite closely. There was also a lot of energy and engagement despite the virtual setting. I did see a lot of virtual comments, or what you call them, the virtual reactions as the meeting was going on. I just have one area of improvement though. That is, hold on. Okay, that is preparing for the virtual voting. So that was for the best effort speaker and the best effort speaker for the speakers, as well as the best effort speaker for the table topics. Okay, and then in terms of our online meeting management, I believe that most role players were, the audio was ready, the video was ready also.
Sorry,
so
on a point, Maduro, I think you need to call the evaluators to give the the evaluations first before you do your general evaluation.
Oh, I thought I was doing that at the end.
Yeah, you do yours at the end, so you need to call the evaluators first.
Oh, okay. Okay. No, before I go on with the general evaluation, I'll just call on the evaluators to give their evaluations before I move on to my general evaluation. So the first evaluator.
All right, thank you so much. The first evaluator is me, Kagelelo. Once again, good evening, Toastmasters and visiting Toastmasters. I had the pleasure of evaluating Thulaganyo Tshweneyagae for her speech titled Becoming Me. Thulaganyo, I'm just going to talk about what you excelled on and just give you one area of improvement. I like the fact that when you came into the stage, Thulaganyo, your body positioning exhibited confidence. For me to be told you are the icebreaker speaker, and the way you showed your confidence I was like, okay, it feels like she has been here before. And Thulaganyo, a woman in the process of becoming, I loved how you unpacked your theme, in as much as you wanted us to get to know you more in terms of how you joined why you joined Toastmasters. You became intentional about wanting to be confident, to be more expressive, and to become the better version of yourself. And then with regards to you telling us who you are, I would like the fact that you told us that you are a banker, you work with Bank of Botswana. At least we know part of that about you, and we know why you joined Toastmasters. We would have loved to know you more, looking at the fact that you still had a bit of time. And we now know your intentions about Toastmasters. And then in terms of what I feel you have to work on, okay, before that, there was a time where the message was popping on the screen. You paused, and I like the fact that you continued with your speak, because oftentimes, especially new speakers, they panic and they lose their lines. So with regards to what you can work on, whenever you see a message popping, please continue with the presentation. Yes, with virtual meetings, we do advise people not to chat when the speaker is on the floor, just so that we avoid a situation that happened with you where we saw you pausing and within your speech presentation. So next time, just continue with the presentation. And I think you presented for three minutes and something. The timer will tell you your time. I feel you could have continued more with telling us who you are, utilizing the whole, because your time is 4 to 6 minutes. I believe you're under time. That one, the timer will correct me if at all I'm wrong on that. Work on your time, have more content to talk about yourself. But other than that, well done, Thulaganyo, for your first speech, and I look forward to hearing more from you. Thank you, and over to you, Madam General Evaluator.
Thank you, Mpho. We'll move on to the second evaluator. That will be Palesa for Zwelibanzi Sapula.
Good evening once again, and most importantly, good evening to you, Zweli. I would like to congratulate you for your first speech here at Gaborone Toastmasters. I don't believe that was your first speech because you sounded impeccable. I will be delivering my evaluations in 3 parts. Firstly, what I loved about your speech. Secondly, what I would have liked to see in your speech. And thirdly, something for you to challenge yourself on for the next speech. Right, first things first. The purpose of your speech was for you to introduce yourself to the club. Tell us who Zwelibanzi is. And you did that. You told us who Zweli is. Zweli is the guy with the scar on the forehead, the annoying guy who got knocked out because of his tongue. That is who Zweli is. The second thing that I liked about your speech was the fact that there was a storytelling element to it. Here at Toastmasters, we love stories. They keep us captivated and engaged throughout your speech. So we were able to follow it from the beginning to end because you had incorporated a story, an interesting and humorous story to it. So thank you very much for keeping us entertained and informed. The third thing that I liked was the fact that your vocal variety was amazing. You kept it it was monotone at some points, but we were able to hear you throughout the speech. There were no points where your voice was low or super high. It was clear. And finally, I'd also like to mention that I loved that you used your hand gestures. Although you were sitting down and we were unable to see most of them, I could see that you were really trying with hand gestures. And hand gestures help you in emphasizing points. So well done and kudos to you on that. Zweli, I would have loved to see you. Actually, I would have loved to hear more about who Zweli is. We know he has a scar and he got it when he was 3 years old. But we don't know what kind of family Zweli comes from, what hometown he comes from. The interesting things that make up Zweli. We don't know your age right now. We don't know if you're married. We don't know if you've got a partner, certain things like that help us picture you going forward. If I meet someone on the street and they're like, oh, Zweli, Zweli who? The one with the forehead, the scar on his forehead. What else can I say to explain who Zweli is? So I would have liked to see that come out more in your speech. In terms of challenging yourself, I would like for you to stand up the next time you give your speech. I'm obviously seated because I'm somewhat of a seasoned speaker, but it's important for you to stand up so we're able to see your entire body structure. We can see you use the stage more, use your hand gestures, and we are then able to judge you overall looking at your entire posture. But otherwise, I loved your speech, and we now know who Zwelibanzi is. Thank you very much, and I look forward to hearing your next speech. Thank you.
Thank you, Palesa, for that detailed feedback. We'll move on to our next evaluator.
Thank you very much, Madam General Evaluator. So I'll give my evaluation for Kagelelo. So in terms of the speech objectives, Kagelelo, I can say you have definitely met the speech objectives about sharing about your experience as a protege. So there were certain things from your speech that I picked up that I thought you did well. I thought you had very good vocal variation in your speech. There were times when your voice would rise a little bit, sometimes go low. I loved some of the gestures also that you use. It shows that that you are emerging with the use of your gestures because you were using them appropriately at certain times just to aid in your speech. And there were also times when you had pauses in your speech. You always say a pause is very good because it lets the audience absorb what it is you're saying. And I thought you used your pauses very well during your speech. And and also in terms of your gestures, when the times when you were not gesturing, you had clasped your hands in front, just to make sure that then they're not moving up and down unnecessarily. So what I picked up that you may want to work on is that I noticed that when you gave your speech, you were just in one space. So you didn't really use much of the space around you. So I want to just encourage you, as much as you are on Zoom, there is some space around you. So it's good to move a little bit this left to the right, just as a way of helping you in terms of adding more to your body movement. And in terms of even gesturing, like I said, it's great. I saw you had some good use of it, and I thought there were times you could have used it and you never did. There was a point where you said need to push, but your hands were still clasped. So obviously when you're talking about pushing, that's like that kind of motion. So it would have been great if you could have actually added that in terms of aiding in the use of your gesture. So just be mindful when you're speaking also of when you say specific movement, that your body language is not speaking against that particular movement that's according to your speech. Then one final thing I thought that you could also work on, I wish you had a call to order at the end of your speech. You were talking about mentoring and Toastmasters and how it helped you. One great thing is maybe just to ask your audience, do you have a mentor? How is your mentorship relationship going? Something to just make your audience think about, okay, maybe I need to get a mentor. Do I have a mentor? Am I learning? Am I growing? So it's always good at the end of your speech to actually have a call to order to your audience so that they can think about what the next step that they can take. Other than that, well done in presenting your speech today. Loved the experience that you shared with us in your story. Looking forward to the future speeches that you'll be giving. Back to you, Madam General Evaluator.
Thank you, Leah, for the well-balanced, specific, and encouraging evaluation. Next up, our next evaluator, who is evaluating.
Thank you, Madam General.
Okay, Timelo, you can take over.
My apologies. I thought you were calling me. Good evening, Gaborone Toastmasters, visiting Toastmasters, and esteemed guests. But most especially, good evening to you, Matshediso Tamaki, who I got to evaluate tonight. Well done, Matshediso, on that beautiful speech titled Rise and Read. And if you haven't set a reminder for your 30 minutes tonight, what are you doing? So Matshediso, my evaluation will take a simple format of 3 things you did well, 2 things you may want to work on, and 1 way to challenge yourself. The first thing you did extremely well was that you engaged your audience with compelling content. We loved to hear how reading is beneficial for our lives. The second thing you did well was that you had a well-structured speech with a clear intro where you really did influence us or persuade us to listen to you. It sounded like quite the ad. You asked us a question about whether or not we read or make time to read or know of this thing that you'd like to sell to us. Your body was a simple 3-step formula where you mentioned the 3 top benefits of reading. And lastly, in your closing or your conclusion, you gave us a call to action to say, tonight, just set aside 30 minutes of your time to read. This was indeed an ode to your book club, Rise and Read. The third thing you did well is that you were poised, you were clear, you were confident, and you had some hand gestures during your speech. Two things I think that you may want to work on, however, are unintentional body language. Unfortunately, not all of your body language was purposeful or intended to enhance your speech. I'll make note of rocking as you are speaking and sometimes clasping your hands, and sometimes just moving hands but not necessarily communicating or emphasizing any points. Another thing you may want to work on is vocal variety. At some point or throughout most of your speech, it got quite monotonous in the tone. You were clear, you were confident, but the pace was just one way, the tone was one way, and the volume and speed did not change much. There are multiple elements to vocal variety, like I said, tone, pitch, volume, and speed, which you can take advantage of. How, you may ask, is that one way I say to challenge yourself. Matshediso, you told us a personal story about how you were tired of just getting home, scrolling on your phone, and then ending up just exhausted and tired, drained. So you decided to take up reading. That is a personal story that perhaps may have included some people you talked to, some spoken word. So try and enhance your storytelling to include spoken word and other descriptive statements that will allow you to incorporate more body language and more vocal variety. But with that, Matshediso, well done on delivering such a wonderful speech. In summary, three things you did well was that you engaged your audience, you had a well-structured speech, and you were clear and confident and poised as the lady you are. The two things to work on, body language and vocal variety. Challenge yourself by enhancing your storytelling. Back to you, Madam General Evaluator.
Thank you, Tumelo. You're very specific and encouraging with your evaluation. I really do hope the speaker got to clearly understand what they did well and where they could improve. Next, I will call on reports from the role players. So we'll start with the grammarian.
Thank you once again, Madam General Evaluator. I also wore another hat where I played grammarian or English police. I'd like to commend you all for the great use of the English language, with special mentions to Kagelelo and Zwelibanzi, who threw in quite a lot of sayings. I couldn't get them all, but indeed I noted that sayings can improve your speech or decorate your speech, so I encourage everyone else to do the same. I also noted something that was done by our icebreaker speaker tonight, Thulaganyo, who kept repeating the word becoming. I had to look up what that is called, and it's called anaphora, I believe, and it's a tactic that's used by politicians and poets to enhance their speech. So please do look up that, and next time as you write your speech, maybe take a note from Thulaganyo's book and do the same. As for the word of the day, I'd like to say I only noted 2 people who used it. I could be wrong. I may have missed some, but Kagelelo used it once and Julie used it once. That's all from me. Thank you. Back to you, Madam General Evaluator.
Thank you for that evaluation. Next, I'll call up the R counter.
Thank you so much, Madam General Evaluator Maduo. My task really is to just give you feedback on the R's and ums used today. I'm proud to say that not very many people used R's and ums. I picked some up from Thulaganyo's speech, from Maduo's brief introduction, but I think that was largely due to technical difficulties. I'd like to commend all of us for being able to, unlike me, not use the word or using strategically timed pauses, speaking slowly at a more genial pace in order to avoid using ahs and ums. There was some repetition in Loago's speech, but that was due to speaking in the change of languages. So that one I'll forgive her on. But otherwise, I think we did well today. And back to you, Madam General Evaluator.
Thank you, Sokhabo. I would like to believe I'm calling up the timekeeper. Are they giving another timekeeper's report? Please advise.
Yes, they are.
Okay, perfect. So, timekeeper, please take the stage.
Yes, thank you. Thank you, General Evaluator, for the floor. I'm going to be giving a report on our table topics and our evaluations. So on our table topics, we had Miss Leah, myself, Julie, Zwelibanzi, and Asalepele taking the floor. Leah took 1 minute and 45 seconds to be precise. I had not yet started the time at that juncture. Myself, I also did not take a recording, but with the estimate that I took, I can tell that I took 3 minutes and 12 seconds, which was beyond the time. Julie took 2 minutes and 23 seconds with her speech. Zwelibanzi took 1 minute and 11 seconds on his speech. And Asalepele took 1 minute and 40 seconds on her speech. As we move on to the evaluations that were given, Ms. Mpho took 3 minutes and 4 seconds for her evaluation. Ms. Palesa took 4 minutes and 3 seconds for her evaluation. Leah took 3 minutes and 12 seconds on her evaluation. Tumelo took 3 minutes and 24 seconds on her evaluation. Thank you. Over to you, General Evaluator.
Thank you for that evaluation report. As the General Evaluator, I will now evaluate how well the meeting functioned as a whole. I will look at the leadership, our time management, and the effectiveness of each role in our online meeting today. I believe that overall, this was a well-prepared and collaborative meeting with strong efforts from the various role players, despite of the virtual environment. Now, for the meeting, one of our strengths of today's meeting was the clear structure and adherence to the agenda. Most role players were prepared and ready when called upon, which really did help maintain. Oh, sorry. My video wasn't on. Okay. Okay. Like I was saying, most role players were prepared and ready when called upon. It really did help maintain the momentum, and the energy remained positive throughout, especially from the reactions that were in the chats. It's especially very important to have those type of encouraging reactions during an online meeting. One area of improvement, as I did say, was in regard to voting for the best effort speaker. That was after the speeches as well as the table topics. So next time we could better prepare for that. In terms of the Toastmaster of the day, Palesa, you did demonstrate a strong leadership and meeting control. Your introductions were very clear. You kept moving forward confidently, and your tone really did set a professional atmosphere. No improvements from my side. I'll then move on to the evaluators. The evaluators did a good job providing balanced and constructive feedback. Most evaluations were very specific, and I believe they were quite encouraging, and they did align with Toastmasters objectives. So this would better help the speakers in future to understand where they need to improve and where they did well. And then on to functionaries or the various role players. The timer You did use your timing signals and verbal reports were clear and they were well communicated, which is critical in an online setting. And the grammarian, Tumelo, is it? Yeah, Tumelo. The word of the day was clearly introduced and effectively referenced during the feedback. And I really did appreciate your grammar observations. Those were helpful and relevant. And then the R counter, despite it being a virtual meeting, you were able to identify filler words that were used throughout today's meeting. And then finally, I'd like to say overall, the meeting stayed largely within the scheduled time. It does reflect our good planning and respects our guests' time as well as our members. I believe that future meetings, however, can be a bit more efficient in terms of the time allocated for the evaluations. So in closing, this was a well-run online meeting. It really did demonstrate teamwork and strong commitment to learning. With those small refinements that I did bring up, I believe that we can improve and deliver greater value in future. So thank you so much. Back to you, Toastmaster of the Day.
Good evening once again. Am I visible? Okay, perfect. I believe I am. Thank you, Madam General Evaluator. You did a stellar job as a first-time evaluator, and I look forward to seeing you take up this role again. Ladies and gentlemen, we are nearing the end of our meeting. I would like to say thank you very much for your patience and your attention this evening. I hope I steered the ship well and you enjoyed our meeting this evening. In closing, I would like to hand over to our club president, Ms. Leah, who will give announcements and give the closing remarks. Leah, please join me on the virtual stage. Thank you.
Thank you so much for that, Palisa, and thank you so much indeed for steering the ship this evening. And yes, well done, well done, well done. And well done to all our speakers today. Special congratulations to our icebreaker speeches as you have started off your Toastmasters journey this year. Looking forward to see your growth and to see how it will happen this particular year. We're very excited by you starting that journey. And if you're a member of Gaborone Toastmasters and you haven't given a speech in a long time, please feel free to reach out to Palisa so that we can schedule you for our next meeting, which will be happening in February. So at this point, I just want to ask maybe one guest how they found the meeting. So I'll just see here, I can see someone called Patricia. Hi, Patricia, how are you? Are you a guest? Oh, hello, Patricia. Okay, I can see someone who's written guest against that. Oh, there we go, Patricia. How did you find our meeting today?
Good evening, everyone. Good evening, ma'am.
How was the meeting today?
Okay, sorry about that. I had technical issues.
All
I
right.
find this meeting very much interactive. It's my first time joining today, and actually my first time joining the club. So I actually enjoyed the meeting, and I'm looking forward to learning more. Thank you.
All right, that's amazing. I see someone has written guest against their name, Orabile. Hello, Orabile. How are you?
Good evening, everyone.
Good
I'm
evening.
very well. I'm very well, and thank you for choosing on me. I find these meetings very insightful. This is my second attendance, and every time I come to this meeting, I walk out of it with something new that will improve to my public speaking. I'm looking forward to actually becoming what did you call it? An icebreaker. Yes,
Oh, yes.
an icebreaker, to have an icebreaker speech. Counting my days and looking forward to that. So thank you so much. This is a very, very insightful and very worthwhile club. Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much for that. And I think our Vice President of Membership, Kagelelo, has shared her contact details in the chat. So if you want to know how to join, be a part of our club, so that maybe next meeting, which is happening on the 10th of February, you will be the one presenting your icebreaker speech. Please feel free to reach out to Kagelelo, find out more information, and we might just be hearing your icebreaker speech in our next meeting. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining us. We look forward to you guys joining us our next meeting. I think it's definitely going to be online. And also February, what's coming up is our speech contest. So I want to encourage you, our members. So that's table topics, evaluation, international speech that is coming up. I think more information will be shared during this coming week for people who want to join. That's our club contest, and we'll share out more information for people to come and participate, watch, and see what happens. Because right now in Toastmasters, it's contest season. So we're looking forward to people wanting to elevate themselves through their public speaking. With that being said, I'd like to then call this meeting to a close. If you have more questions that you want to know more about the club, we'll stay on the call for some 5 to 10 minutes. Other than that, good night and have yourself a lovely week.
Good night.